have received a bunch of your messages. We shall read them shortly. So we'll go for a quick break. News review continues on Breakfast Daily.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on City TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
For regular news checks as they unfold, 2020 news all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. Thank you guys so much for staying with us. Remember to use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line
0550-585-832.
Now, before the break, we were discussing the Bank of Ghana's move to take some of the managers of the banks to IOCO, and just exploring what that means and if people within Bank of Ghana should also be held accountable for allowing this happen in the first place. Now, the next story we're going to look at is in the Chronicle, and I'm reading from page 3. It says, approval of DCE's pure business. Okay, so a member of the Burukum West District Assembly in the Brong Ahafo region has explained why he and his colleagues took money from the president's nominee for district chief executive for the area, Mr. Martin Obin Eje, and yet ditched him. So he says, well, the nominee already confirmed that he paid 45,000 cedis to 27 members of the assembly for confirmation, but secured only 12 yes votes out of the required 18 votes to become the DCE. Now, this man told the Chronicle that, yes, I took the 2,000 cedis from the nominee, counted it right in front of all my colleagues, and voted against him because he knows nothing about politics, and he is a retiree with a retired mind. So let's discuss, is this wrong, or should we even allow this? I'll start with you.
You see, it's like comedy.
You know? That's a dangerous confession, actually.
It's like...
And there's a cartoon here of the aspirant saying, return my money.
You see, I don't know when we are going to be serious. You know, I'm a politician, so I look at these topics and I think about them politically. We have a constitution that is really hindering the development of Ghana. We've been talking about, I mean, the PPP has been talking about this MMDC issue. You know, the MCs, the DCs, they actually are the custodians of government within the districts. They are the ones that can see to it that development comes to their areas. Now, if they are nominated or appointed, they are looking up to someone to give them directions. Yes, they may have their own ideas. I am from the KE constituency. It's a district. we have an MCE who I hear wants to work, but is constrained. Everything, anytime I talk about this, they say, oh, but this MCE, he really wants to work, oh, but then what? What? You see, and until we stop this, appointing our MMDCs, this comedy will continue happening. In KE, as I'm saying, the elections, it hung one time, and then they had to go and vote again before. And I heard it, I know. I mean, I have people in the district assembly. Monies, change hands. The same thing with this party delegates, elections, and all of it. Until such a time that we, this is what I believe, until such a time that we get a leader who really wants Ghana to move forward. And then make sure that our judiciary works. People who commit crime are punished. Crime shouldn't be profitable. This is crime. You are paying somebody to give, to get something out of it. Is a crime. It should be punishable. But here we are, openly we talk about it. Openly we talk about giving monies to headmasters and bursars to get admission for our children in school. We do it, and we talk about it is normal. It shouldn't be normal.
Well, he did say here that the money was just transportation, so it wasn't.
You called 2,000 cedis transportation.
When you're in the same district.
From where did he travel? You see, we are making bribery become normal. Well, we are legalizing it. Look, let's talk about audit people. They go to audit people. They don't have a means of transportation sometimes. They don't have accommodation. So you come auditing me. I provide you accommodation. I feed you. I give you transportation money. What are you going to take away? What are you going to take away? And until such a time that crime, no matter what it is, going to work late is a crime. Leaving work early is a crime. This is it is corruption. And until we begin to see it as that, we aren't going anywhere. And the only way we can see is from leadership. But here we are. Oh, this one, he's Mr. Sterling, small boy. Oh. And then, oh, Mr. Sterling, this is what has happened. Oh. And then, before you know, somebody has done something that is unforgivable. But then, we go and beg. And that person is not punished and is walking about. Until we begin to see that corruption, crime, and everything, this is not legitimate, we aren't going to go anywhere. Do you remember when Nyantichi's case came? There was a whole paramount chief comes out, forgive our son. Where do we want to go with this? Look, I am sitting here. I know that sometimes I take advantage of the situation. It's because I know that I can take advantage of it. Not that I am indisciplined. No. I am a very disciplined person. But sometimes circumstances and stuff like that will make you, take certain things for granted because you know that you can take advantage of it. Like speeding and all of these things. If I have been caught speeding and then prosecuted, you think I'll do it again? No. The policeman knows that if they catch you over speeding, they will take money and you will pay. So, that's how we're going to do it. But if we begin to strike, people will begin to take notice that, hey, it's not that easy again. And for me, it all comes from leadership. And in this case, leadership comes from the president, down through his cabinet, through his ministry, through the directorates, down to the district assemblies. That is how it works, or that is how it will work. Yes, you will be called, I am sometimes said to be too strict, or sometimes people even say I'm wicked. No, I'm not wicked. I'm just being fair. If you ask me something and you ask
delegates, right? And even this man, Emmanuel Amankona, he says that the Burukum West District is a new district and requires a fresh young person with the mental strength to lead the development of the district. So if he already knows that he's going to vote against you, even if you pay...
You know, so far as that this happens in national elections, it will happen at the smallest level, and that's what we are seeing. People are supposed to approve or disapprove of the president's nominee. If they know, you see, once they know that there is money, they will show up. They already have who they want in mind, but they will take the money. That makes the process expensive, but it is not their doing. The people who are seeking political power are the ones who are ready to spend. And if they have the money, the delegates will take the money. So for me, that's it. If people realize that money may not change the minds of the people whose votes I want.
Which they've realized, because they keep saying fear delegates.
Yeah, but they still give out the money.
Why?
So,
I don't know why they do it.
It's like the perception is that if you don't give the money, you will not be considered at all.
So you give the money
he still
and you still lose. Now you lessen the risk of losing.
But you still lose.
It's just a perception.
Lost by 1 versus lost by 1,000 is still...
Do you know what this does? This really is that's the spark that lights the fuse. And it ends up with people being corrupt in political positions.
Yeah.
Because they've expended funds to get there.
To be fair, there's also the perception that the person who eventually won may have paid more, or would have paid. But then, if you are the favorite candidate, and you don't pay at all, then you are not a favorite candidate.
See, so now the politics
everyone pays, and then we vote for a favorite candidate.
So now the politics we run in this country, essentially one that hangs on money. Meaning that the one that has the most cash gets into political office. It may not be the best person. So that will have an overall consequence on the quality of leadership that is given to us who are the bottom.
John, let me ask you, and I'm really sorry for this, but isn't this an insult to our democracy that we've worked so hard to get?
You see, I always say that the Ghanaian is not, or the Ghanaian hasn't felt insulted. I mean, they don't feel insulted. I feel insulted. Every day I hear these things, I feel insulted. I mean, I feel insulted that somebody can come and tell me that I have 2.5 years left on a contract with a certain specific amount to pay for the whole project to become mine. And then come and not understand mathematics and finance, that I feel insulted, really insulted. A lot of things that government does is insulting you and I, all of us, that we don't think. And for me, I said the Constitution. The only way this country is going to go forward is when we get a bold president who will say, let me take this Constitution, give it back to the people. Let's dissect it, whichever way. Take away the bad ones, replace them. The ones that are weak, reinforce them. Take some of the powers away from the president, give it to the parliament where it belongs. The judiciary, they need to feel empowered. The police system, I'm telling you, is the major organization in this country that really needs reinforcing.
Yes.
By the way we appoint, people to the head. I'm not saying the present IGP is a bad person. No. For all we know, he's a very good person. But today, he is in the pocket of the president. So whatever the president and his people tell him to do, he will do. Because if he doesn't do, he's going to lose his job. It's easy. So until certain institutions in this country become independent, like the MMDC issue you are talking about, if we were voting, if the whole district was voting to elect, do you think this will happen?
Well, that could happen.
Candidates could still shell out money. Even national elections, we are hearing.
Yeah,
this happens.
It won't be as bad as this.
Because you have more people to
Yes, you have more people. So there's a chance.
Maybe you can get bag of rice.
Well, to certain people, but not all the people.
Persons.
You see, and for me, until such a time that the president will take his whip and start cracking it, we haven't seen anything. I'm hoping that the ferocity in him during the Kumpreku time is still there. That, you know, we need proper sanitization of the system for Ghana.
If you read the story, I mentioned the amount of 45,000.
How does a teacher even make
Yes,
it?
how are you going to make 45,000? And like I said, that's the formula for trouble. Because
45 or 54,000.
54,000. Because if I'm expending 54,000 during an election, I may not have the money. I may have gone to borrow. And I get into political power. The people I've taken the money from will now start hounding me. We need our money back. You are close to the government chest and all of that. And so that bends people to do all kinds of things. And it rids the citizenry of the roads, the schools, the markets, the hospitals they are supposed to get, because money that's dedicated for that ends up paying the people I've borrowed from to get into political power.
But that also says a lot about us, like voters, right? Because if I'm selling you my votes, then I already know that you're not going to serve my interest once you come to power.
But I think it happens because it happens because over time people maybe have lost faith in the system helping them. So for them, what is the most beneficial thing to do? Take money off these politicians and use it to solve an immediate problem.
But like the example he used with the auditor.
Yes.
If I do that, then once you come into power, I can't hold you accountable to serve my interest anymore. So that's an issue.
There's that. And added to that, there's, I won't call it a sense of despair, but you find that it's now that the awakening is there. But for many years, many people would not generally hold government to power. Or to account, rather. They would wait till an election and then vote you out when they don't like you. But if constantly the citizenry pushed the government every step of the way, demanding what they wanted, I think things would have been different. I think we are in a context where citizens need to demand from government the type of things they need.
But we need to, don't you think we should start by not selling our dignity?
Great.
Because if we're selling it, then we can demand.
That should happen.
But I think there's a gradual evolution, because if the person pays and still loses.
Immediate need.
Yeah.
Most, I'll say, if I say 80% of Ghanaians, I may be underestimating, have an immediate need that they can't satisfy right now.
The basic bread and butter.
If you go and then help him out on that one, and you see, sometimes I say this thing and I say the Ghanaian is just too honest. Yes.
The Ghanaians are too honest.
Too honest.
Like this guy coming to say he took the money and didn't.
You know that I'm giving you 50 cedis. I won't see you again until 4 years.
Yes.
You take it and then you go into the booth. You know very well that this person won't do anything for you. Yet, because of that 50 cedis, they will go and vote.
Yeah, but based on what Nathan is saying, which I think I agree with him, is that the people have reached a level that either way they don't think you do anything good for them.
So yes,
so they want to take it right now. They rather take it right now.
Why not put your foot down and say, I'm not going to take it and I'm going to make sure you serve my interest?
Great, but you see that would happen if we lived in a context where people wouldn't have to think about where my next meal is coming from. Where am I going to get water? How come I don't have electricity in my house?
But these people you're voting into power are supposed to ensure these things happen.
How come I can't send my kids to school? Why am I struggling to get 3 square meals? Assuming all these things had been catered for, I think the citizen would walk into an election looking past the money you are giving them and analyzing everything you are saying, that if I vote for this person, am I certain that he can bring some massive policy change, things that will turn our life better?
Yeah.
I like that. That's what I'm saying. That lots of people are facing too many basic problems to think of the grander picture. So if you offer somebody in Sefia Kontombra 2,000 CDs, wow, the person will take it and probably not vote for you because that's the last thing on their mind. Vote no.
I'll read 2 more messages and then we can go on to our next story. Good morning, City TV Breakfast Daily. Please, let's also look at people depositing in savings and loans as well. These companies are also going through liquidity challenges. Bank of Ghana should not focus only on the banks. We are all citizens of this land. I think the Bank of Ghana is taking a more holistic approach to the banking sector. Yes, it needs to actually. But right now, information has come on the banks, so I believe savings and loans are also in the pipeline.
I don't think so. I think they should look at that 400 million capitalization because it's not all the banks. It's not really.
But John, don't you think that, for example, if you can't meet 400 million CDs. Why don't they like segment all these financial institutions and say that, okay, if you can meet 400 and above, we'll get you a banking license. If you can't meet 400, we'll put you somewhere. Looking at, let's say, how much strength you have.
Do you think the timeline was fair to our banks?
The timeline, I think there was time.
Yeah, there was time.
There was time.
So it was fair.
To the extent that the banks even wrote to the president petitioning him to beg the Bank of Ghana
for an extension.
The timeline was good, but like I was saying, it's not every bank. Banks have specific interests that they deal in. They do. So we go into construction. It's a big business, and so yes, they need But someone that is dealing with market women,
it don't necessarily have to be a bank.
It is a bank. No,
you don't necessarily have to be a bank.
You don't necessarily have to be a bank, but it can be a bank. It is only the Bank of Ghana that has to give you. Look, okay, 100 million. This is your area that you can operate in. 200 million, you can operate in this area. 400 million, you can operate in this area.
And the Act has already provided levels. Act 930 has already provided levels. So you feel there should be more levels to this?
Well, if there are levels, then why are they banding it together as 400 million?
Well, banks are actually, the Act takes banks very serious. For instance, you can't just use the word bank. I believe maybe apart from Blood Bank, no other institution is allowed to use the word bank. The law takes it very serious. So if you're going to use the word bank, you have to meet the minimum capital requirement.
Yes, for specific areas.
I also think that maybe you can look at other things, because like we've seen in the cases of some of the banks that have gone under, they managed to find paperwork and money that didn't exist to present and say that we've met the 400 million. Maybe some other things.
They made 120 million.
Yes, to filter these people who are applying. I think that if you have a better filtering process, you can know the people who fall through. Look at their strengths and say that you guys, you have 50, you have 60, you have 80. You know what? Let's bunch all of you together and work in this specified area, like John is saying, work here. Because if you try to chase the 400 million, one, you have problems. Two, you create bigger problems for yourself, the BOG, and the larger citizen who are just hoping that these banks can help them live their lives more comfortably.
Okay, now I want us to jump straight to our next story. I promised I'll read one more message. Let me just do that right now. Jagos from Saum says, I think the Swami retailers should exercise restraint, else it will create problems for Ghanaians living and doing business in Nigeria. That point cannot be overemphasized enough. So now, really quickly, let's look at the presidential hopefuls or the flag bearership for the NDC. I think we have a few candidates going for this particular position. A few names have come up. John Dramani Mahama, former president of the Republic. Alban Bagbeng, of course, has come out strongly. Joshua Alabi, Sylvester Mensah, Spio Gabra, they've all been mentioned in this particular race. So I'll start with you, John, on this particular story, on the candidates, and of course, the flag bearership being open for December 7 election. NDC
flag bearership. It is something that they have to go through, but they haven't done their regional and national elections. I would have thought that they would have all of this in place before they go out looking for...
The regional elections for August 4th, I believe. Yes. It's been postponed from, I think, 28 to the 4th of August.
Okay. And this presidential one is for December?
Yes, December.
Okay. Well, for me, when it comes, I hope the best person wins for real. But if I look at Mahama coming back, my thinking is that if you lose an election the way he lost, it's better off he sits somewhere and heal his wounds. But coming back and the way he's coming back, I don't know if they are really ready for the 2020 elections.
But the PPP also lost very hugely. Should you also sit back?
The PPP, if you talk about the PPP hasn't won power to lose.
Okay.
If the PPP wins power, my friend, it is going to be difficult to take it away from them. It is going to be very difficult. to take it away from the PPP.
Okay.
So we are now growing. You can check from the 2012 results and the 2016 results.
Sylvester Mensah, John Mahama, Ekos Pio Gabra, Alban Bagbeng, and of course, well, there's also Eli Magbemaba, and of course, Professor Joshua Alabi.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised these names have popped up. I think after the 2016 loss, some of these names started to emerge, and eventually we are settling on some big names. But I'm surprised that it's taken the NDC close to 2 years to get here. Because I think if you lose an election in 2016 like you did, the first thing you do is to sort out your flag bearership. It gives you a greater time to campaign, to get your message entrenched, because it gives you a bit more time to be active, and it gets you out there. It may get you a few more voters, some percentage points, and that could play out well in the next election. So like John said, we really wish them well. I don't think that they are ready for the next election. Like I'm saying, one, they have too short a time to campaign. 1. 2, have they even figured out how and why they lost the 2016 election? Because there's still some controversy over the report. It was leaked, it wasn't leaked. We still don't know whether the copies that are out there are even authentic. Has the party figured out how it lost the election, what it will do to get political power? And you have to admit that even though I think the myth that supports incumbency is now broken slightly by the NDC's own loss, funny twist, I wonder how they will dislodge the MPP. Not because I think that the MPP may present a superior argument, no, but depending on the person who wins, I think that person may have a challenge trying to go against the party machine. If it's John Mahama, that's a huge battle because he just lost an election. What is he going to tell the people? If it's Professor Alabi, he's been away from mainline politics for a while. If it's Alban Bagbeng, yes, he's been an MP, but what does he have to offer? I think the NDC needs to, first of all, try to sell a good image to the people out there, and as things stand, their own internal politics kind of goes against them. But we wish them well. I do hope they bring out a very formidable candidate to see what we don't have any women, unfortunately, to see what he can throw up against the government in 2020. But I think that they have too short a time between now and then to figure this out and probably put out a good argument in the elections. I could be wrong, but that's what I make of the situation.
Okay, thank you very much, Nathan, and thank you very much, of course, John Stelling, for joining us on Breakfast Daily News Review. Remember, John Stelling is with the PPP, he's a national committee member, and of course, Nathan Kwao is a lecturer and a broadcast journalist as well.
Yes, and up next we're going to learn about women in politics, the highs and lows, and much later we're going to spend time with Juliet Asante learning about living and working for Film Ghana. You don't want to miss these interviews. This is Breakfast Daily on City TV. We'll be right back.
Live music, interviews, poetry, and more with your favorite personalities. Be our guest on Saturdays from 2 to 4 p.m. for the most exciting moments on TV. Join Kojo Akoto Boateng for real entertainment right in your living room. Saturday Live on City TV and City 97.3 FM.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you. Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
It's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m.
President of Ghana, do you want to win a whopping 10,000 Ghana cedis? If yes, then participate.
Bless you with body, oh baby. Oh, star boy go. Sucker, baby. Love.
The more really knows just Irish and more out of Ghana. Let you live it, but so right. So I there's just forum, their global agenda, just which of this man we have a woman office and opposition delay so would you like what do you this need kind of yes and make sure you are accessible. Okay, now men are watching. They're right. It might not even be in politics. And as you can by loving people for positions at all levels from primary school. And I'll tell mothers and fathers who also have this that you can
attending film festivals and seeing the side, quote unquote, as a filmmaker, and focused on something that could end was I use them. We are also doing of nice need in some film fest is very no film and continue of things this section of that's the and use or low house can problems and that we need to see all of to do and there.
You know,
means everything for the car.
On